Have you ever shared something deeply personal with a friend or family member, only to regret it later? Perhaps you confided a worry, discussed your finances, or expressed a strong opinion, and afterward, you wished you could just take the words back. It's a painful feeling. Isn't it that knot in your stomach when you realize you've opened yourself up in a way that now feels vulnerable, exposed, or even misunderstood? We cherish our connections with the people we love, and trust is a cornerstone of those relationships. We want to be open, honest, and feel understood. But sometimes, that desire for closeness can lead us to share things that are actually better kept private. Not because we're being dishonest, but because protecting certain aspects of our lives can protect our peace of mind, our relationships, and even our well-being as we navigate these golden years. Sharing too much, even with those closest to us, can sometimes create unexpected problems, invite unwanted opinions, or even strain the very bonds we value most. In this video, we're going to explore 5 specific things that, while seemingly innocent to talk about, are often best kept as private matters. These aren't about hiding who you are, but about building healthy boundaries that serve you and the people around you. We'll look at why keeping these particular things confidential can actually lead to a more peaceful and secure life. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you about why this is more important than you might think right now. Let's start with the first area where many of us, perhaps without even thinking, share more than is truly wise, and that's our exact financial situation. Now, I'm not talking about general worries about the cost of living or retirement planning in broad strokes. That's a common topic, and it's often helpful to discuss trends or challenges. What I mean is getting into the nitty-gritty details: how much money you have saved, the exact amount of your pension or Social Security income, details of your investments, how much debt you might still have, or precisely how much you're leaving in your will. You might think that being open about these things builds trust, especially with family. But in reality, sharing these specific numbers can open the door to a lot of complications you might not anticipate. For example, if family members, even well-meaning ones, know you have a comfortable nest egg, they might suddenly feel more comfortable asking for loans or financial help. It can create an expectation that you are the family bank, and saying no becomes incredibly difficult and can cause resentment. Or perhaps they might start making suggestions or even demands about how you should spend or manage your money, based on their own ideas or needs, not yours. Suddenly, your financial decisions, which should be a very personal matter between you and maybe a trusted advisor, become a topic for family discussion and potential conflict. I've seen situations where knowing the details of a parent's finances led to siblings arguing even before the parent was gone, or where one child felt entitled to more based on knowing what was available. It's not just family, either. Sharing financial specifics with friends can also be tricky. If you seem to have more than they do, it could inadvertently create distance or jealousy. They might feel they can't relate to your experiences anymore. Or perhaps they start subtly or not so subtly hinting about their own financial struggles, again putting pressure on you. On the flip side, if you share that you're struggling financially, some friends might offer unhelpful advice, judge your past choices, or you might find they start to avoid you because they don't know how to handle the information. Your financial journey is unique to you. The decisions you made, the sacrifices you took, the challenges you faced, they all led you to where you are now. That path, and the resources you have accumulated or haven't, are a private matter. You are not obligated to disclose the specifics of your wealth or lack thereof to anyone, regardless of how close they are. A simple way to handle questions that get too specific is to be polite but firm. If someone asks about your retirement savings, you can simply say something general like, "Oh, we're managing. Thank you for asking." Or, "We're trying to be sensible." Or, "We've worked hard to be comfortable." You don't owe them a balance sheet. For family, it's important to set expectations about financial support early on if that's a concern. But you don't need to reveal the total sum to justify your position. Keeping your financial cards close to your chest allows you to maintain control, avoid undue influence or pressure, and prevents others from making assumptions or developing expectations that could strain your relationships and your peace of mind. It's about maintaining your autonomy and privacy in a world where money matters can quickly become complicated when shared openly. Moving on from the realm of finances, there's another deeply personal area that many of us feel compelled to share, especially as we get older, and that's our deep personal insecurities or health anxieties. Now, let's be clear, it is absolutely vital to discuss health concerns with your doctor. And having a trusted confidant or two, maybe a partner or a very close friend, with whom you can share genuine worries or health challenges, is healthy and necessary. What I'm talking about here is the tendency some of us develop to constantly talk about our ailments, to share every ache and pain, every health worry or deep-seated insecurity we have, with almost everyone we encounter. It's easy to fall into this pattern. Health becomes a more prominent topic as we age, and sometimes we seek validation or reassurance. However, oversharing these deep anxieties or minor physical complaints repeatedly can have unintended negative consequences, both for you and for those listening. For you, constantly vocalizing your worries can actually amplify them. It can make you focus more on the negative, on what's potentially wrong, rather than appreciating what's right with your health or life. It can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the more you talk about feeling unwell or insecure, the more those feelings dominate your perception. It can also make you feel more vulnerable and fragile. For your friends and family, while they initially might be sympathetic, hearing a constant stream of complaints or deep insecurities can become emotionally draining. They might start to feel helpless, not knowing how to genuinely support you beyond offering platitudes. They might even start to distance themselves because every conversation turns negative or focuses solely on your perceived problems. Think about it. We all have our own burdens and worries, while friends are there to support each other. There's a limit to how much negativity or anxiety another person can absorb before it starts to affect them. This is especially true for deep-seated insecurities that aren't easily fixed with a chat. Worries about not being good enough, regrets about past choices, fear of the future. Things that perhaps require professional guidance to truly process. Sharing these with a friend can place an unfair burden on them, expecting them to somehow fix or alleviate these complex feelings. Instead of finding relief, you might find yourself feeling even more exposed and misunderstood if their response isn't what you hoped for. So, while open communication is good, discerning what, when, and with whom you share your deepest vulnerabilities is crucial. If you have persistent health anxieties, talking to your doctor or a therapist is often much more effective than repeatedly discussing them with friends. A professional can provide strategies for managing anxiety and offer real solutions or reassurances. For insecurities, sometimes journaling, focusing on your strengths, or seeking professional support can be more beneficial than airing them to an audience who may not have the tools to help and might even unintentionally make you feel worse. It's about finding the right outlet for these feelings and protecting your relationships from being overwhelmed by your worries. Remember, you are more than your health concerns or your insecurities. Focusing conversations on positive aspects of your life, shared interests, or simply enjoying each other's company can strengthen your bonds far more than a litany of ailments. Now that we've touched upon keeping our finances and deepest personal worries a bit more private, let's talk about something that can be incredibly tempting to share, but often causes significant damage, and that's gossip or negative opinions about others. It feels good in the moment, doesn't it? That shared glance, the whispered comment, the feeling of being in on a secret or validated in your opinion about someone else. Perhaps you're feeling frustrated with a mutual friend, or maybe a family member has done something that you disagree with, and you vent to someone else. It seems harmless enough, just blowing off steam. But think about the ripple effect of gossip and negativity. First, it immediately casts you in a negative light. When you are constantly talking critically about others, the person you're talking to, consciously or unconsciously, starts to wonder what you say about them when they're not around. It erodes trust, making genuine connection harder. It can make people wary of being truly open with you, for fear their own flaws or mistakes will become the next topic of conversation. Second, gossip almost always gets back to the person it's about, in some form or another, and when it does, it causes hurt, embarrassment, and damages relationships. Imagine finding out that a friend or family member you trusted has been saying unkind things about you behind your back. It's a deeply painful betrayal, even if what you're saying is true. Airing it to someone else instead of addressing the issue directly with the person involved is a form of conflict avoidance that ultimately creates bigger problems. It makes reconciliation or understanding much more difficult, because the initial hurt wasn't about the original issue, but about the fact that it was discussed secretly and negatively with others. For example, maybe you're annoyed that a friend is always late. Instead of gently mentioning it to them, you complain to another friend. Now, the friend who is late is not only potentially unaware they're causing frustration, but if they hear about your complaint through the grapevine, they're likely to feel hurt and defensive, making it harder to have an open conversation about punctuality in the future. Furthermore, participating in gossip or constantly expressing negative opinions can actually change your own mindset. It focuses your attention on the flaws and failures of others, rather than their strengths or positive qualities. It can make you more cynical and less appreciative of the people in your life. It trains your brain to look for the bad, which isn't a healthy or happy way to live, especially as we age and should be focusing on gratitude and connection. So, what's the alternative? It's not about being fake or suppressing your feelings entirely. If someone's behavior is genuinely hurting you or causing a problem, the most constructive approach is usually to address it directly with them, calmly and respectfully, if possible. If that's not feasible or safe, sometimes the best course of action is to simply let it go, or to confide your feelings, without specifics or judgment, to a very trusted confidant, focusing on how it made you feel, rather than criticizing the other person. But engaging in casual gossip or repeatedly criticizing others is a habit that brings very little good and can cause a great deal of harm to your reputation, your relationships, and your own inner peace. Choosing to speak kindly, or to say nothing at all if you can't say something positive, is a powerful way to maintain healthy, respectful relationships. Moving on. Another topic that is almost always best kept private until it's absolutely necessary to share is the specific details of your will or inheritance plans. This might seem counterintuitive. Shouldn't your family know what to expect? While it's wise to have conversations with your potential executor and perhaps your beneficiaries about your intentions. For example, that you want your assets distributed fairly among your children, or that you've made provisions for grandchildren. Getting into the precise details of who is getting what, when, and how is a recipe for conflict and resentment. Think about the potential scenarios. If you tell one child they are getting more than another, perhaps because they've had greater financial needs or have provided more care, this information can breed jealousy and bitterness among siblings, even if your reasons are perfectly valid to you. The perception of unfairness, or the simple comparison of who is getting what, can cause deep rifts that may never heal. It can lead to feelings of entitlement in some, and feelings of being unappreciated or undervalued in others. Sharing the details can also create awkwardness or pressure. If you've promised specific items or sums, family members might start making plans based on that expected inheritance, putting pressure on you or making things complicated if your plans change later, which they often do. It can also invite unwelcome opinions or lobbying from family members who disagree with your choices. They might try to convince you to change your will, creating stress and conflict during a time when you should be feeling secure in your decisions. Your will is a legal document that reflects your final wishes for your property and assets. The details should be discussed with your estate lawyer and your chosen executor. People who understand the legal implications and your overall goals. Your beneficiaries typically do not need to know the specifics until after your death. When the will is being executed, sharing the existence of a will, where it is located, and who the executor is important for practical reasons. Having open conversations about your values regarding inheritance, perhaps emphasizing that your love for your children is not measured by the size of their inheritance, but that you've made decisions you believe are fair based on everyone's circumstances, can be much more productive than detailing dollar amounts or specific items. The goal of estate planning, beyond distributing your assets, is often to minimize stress and conflict for your loved ones after you're gone. Ironically, trying to be fully transparent by sharing all the specific details beforehand often achieves the opposite. It can ignite disputes and create expectations that are difficult to manage. Keeping the specific terms of your will confidential, known only to your legal representatives and executor, allows you to make decisions based on your own judgment and priorities, without the pressure of managing everyone's reactions or potential disagreements. It ensures that your final wishes are respected and implemented according to the legal document, rather than being subject to debate or emotional turmoil before you are even gone. It's a way of protecting your family from potential conflict, protecting your own peace of mind, and ensuring your legacy is handled as you intended, without the drama that can arise from premature disclosure of sensitive financial details. So, discuss your intentions and values. Yes, but keep the precise breakdown of your will private until the time comes for it to be legally administered. Finally, let's consider the last area where oversharing can cause more harm than good: constantly rehashing past regrets or mistakes. We all have them, don't we? Decisions we made that we wish we hadn't, opportunities missed, words we regret saying, paths not taken. It's a natural part of life to look back and reflect. And sometimes, sharing a past mistake or a regret with a close friend can be helpful. It can be cathartic, a way to process the past, or even offer a cautionary tale. But there's a difference between a single, thoughtful reflection and a constant, repetitive dwelling on the negative aspects of your past, shared repeatedly with different people. When you continually talk about your regrets, it can become burdensome for those listening. They might feel helpless, unable to change the past for you. And hearing the same story of woe can be emotionally draining. It can also paint a picture of you as someone stuck in the past, unable to move forward, which isn't a healthy or accurate reflection of who you are today. More importantly, constantly vocalizing your regrets reinforces them in your own mind. It keeps you tethered to the past, preventing you from fully embracing the present or looking forward to the future. It can deepen feelings of shame or guilt, making it harder to find peace. While acknowledging the past is important for learning and growth, dwelling on the painful parts and sharing them broadly can keep those wounds open. For example, maybe you regret a career choice you made decades ago. Talking about it incessantly won't change it. It might make you feel bitter. And it might make your friends uncomfortable because they don't know how to respond. Especially if the regret involved decisions about your family or finances that are sensitive. Learning to process your past. Learn from it. And then gently let go of what you cannot change is a crucial part of aging well. This doesn't mean denying your history, but rather integrating it into your life story without letting it define you negatively. If you find yourself consumed by regrets, perhaps talking to a therapist or counselor could be beneficial. They can provide tools and perspectives to help you process these feelings in a healthy way, allowing you to find peace with your past. Sharing triumphs, lessons learned, and positive memories from your past is wonderful. It connects you with others and celebrates your journey. But focusing conversations primarily on painful mistakes or regrets can inadvertently push people away and keep you trapped in negativity. It's about choosing to share the aspects of your life that build connection, inspire hope, and reflect the resilience and wisdom you've gained, rather than the burdens you still carry. Protecting your peace of mind also means choosing not to endlessly relive painful moments by recounting them to others. So, as we've explored, keeping certain things private isn't about being secretive or dishonest. It's a form of self-preservation and a way to maintain the health of your relationships. Knowing when to hold back on sharing the intimate details of your finances, your deepest anxieties, negative thoughts about others, the specifics of your will, or painful past regrets can protect you from unwanted pressure, judgment, conflict, and emotional drain. It allows you to control your own narrative, maintain your autonomy, and foster relationships built on mutual respect and positive connection, rather than being burdened by inappropriate disclosures. Setting these boundaries is a sign of strength and wisdom. Remember, small changes in how and what you share can make a big difference to your peace of mind and the quality of your connections. You are in control of your own story and your own privacy. Choosing wisely what you reveal and to whom is an act of self-care that benefits everyone involved. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever experienced difficulties from oversharing in any of these areas? Share your experiences or thoughts on setting healthy boundaries in the comments below, keeping in mind the spirit of privacy we've discussed. Your perspective could help others. And if you found this discussion helpful, please give the video a like. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights and tips on living your best life at every age. Thank you for watching. And remember, protect your peace, cherish your privacy, and live your best life on your terms.